Hey everybody, Brian Good here. The quick blog update will get you through the dry weather, really, for the rest of this week, and then we'll talk about the weekend question marks, and then look into at least a hint of the beginning of October, because we're still in a very quiet weather pattern. I mean, here's a look at the severe risk for today, and you see it's only a thunderstorm risk for the southeast corner of the country. It'll stay there as we head into Tuesday, and then mainly Florida, and then maybe another front that could spark some thunderstorms on Wednesday, but fairly quiet fall so far. Usually we have two severe weather seasons, one in the spring, early summer, one again into the fall. Though we usually here in Kentuckiana don't really see ours until sometime around mid to late October. So it's still a little early for a severe weather season, our second one, but at this point no signs of that is for sure. All right, here's the setup. Outside at the moment, we've got clouds hugging Kentucky. Those in Indiana see nothing but a blue sky at the moment. This area of low pressure, though, is going to move off to the east. Question is, once it gets out here, you see, look carefully, there's some blow-up of thunderstorms. This will likely develop into a hybrid area of low pressure, way it's looking, somewhat cold core, somewhat warm core, with some tropical characteristics. And then the question is, where is it going to go from there? Is it going to drift and expand, become very extratropical and expand its legs, if you will, and bring us some showers or clouds for the weekend, or is it going to stay a little more compact and impact areas of the southeast? And that's where the models really begin to diverge on that entire solution. So let me show you in the short term, we're going to have mainly a dominant north wind for the next couple of days. So cool nights, fairly comfortable afternoons, right around 80 to 83, I think, for all the way through at least Wednesday. After Wednesday, that's when we got to watch and see what's going to happen with this low pressure. Here's the GFS model. At this point, you see that it's got it developed there across the Gulf Stream of the Carolinas. You see it begins to expand somewhat, pushes the clouds and the scattered showers right into the Ohio Valley. Such a pattern would allow us to see cloudy skies, light rain showers, possibly some moderate showers, nothing severe, and it would keep temperatures in the 60s and 70s in some locations. So it would be significant as far as impact, even though it wouldn't be a lot of rain. So that is something worth watching. But then you look at the European model, and again, it starts off very similar to the GFS, but then look what happens to the European model. As we get into this weekend, we get some clouds from it, but it keeps most of the precipitation very compacted to the core itself on the southeast coast. At this point, we're leaning more toward the Euro because the idea that it's very hard to get a lot of moisture, first off, over the Appalachians and to be substantial. Cloud cover, yes. A lot of moisture, not so much, especially when you don't have a due south wind. An east-southeast wind over the Appalachians, it can give you a drizzle maybe, but it's tough because we're very dry. We're in a near drought situation, so to come out of that would require something a little more out of the south and southwest to break us out of that pattern, not so much from the east-southeast. But at this point, we'll increase the cloud cover, but we're not going to go crazy with this low. But as I always say, we will watch it carefully and trend it each and every day. So beyond that, here is a look at some of the ensemble models. And looking at this gives us an idea of how the pattern in general is looking for longer term. And this is the GFS model all the way through about the first few days of October. And this is the zero will be normal. This would be above normal temperatures. This would be below normal temperatures. And you see, as we head into October, a lot of the model ensembles that we have from the GFS say we're going to be above normal. In fact, about 6 degrees, if not more than that, above normal for highs to at least the first few days of October. What does that translate to? Well, again, these are not exact numbers we'll have, but this is the ensemble's idea that we would see generally lower 80s for highs and then lows at night, generally in the 50s, pretty much where we are now. So in other words, it doesn't see a lot of change in the ensembles happening our way, other than that low pressure off the southeast coast. And you only see that reflected here on the ensemble briefly. And again, what you saw was what we call a dermatistic model. Dermatinistic, I'll get it right eventually. Model, which is a little more focused on today's data. The ensembles takes an idea of varying solutions and gives you a general idea. And that's why it's not as dramatic with the cooling that could happen this weekend if we stay showery and cloudy. But it does show the dip, at least, for the weekend. So it does, the ensembles do see something potentially impacting us for the weekend there. Now you look at the European model, and it obviously didn't see much happening for the weekend, which the weekend would be riding through here. It kind of keeps us flat, really. But overall, it's suggesting temperatures would stay generally in the 81 to 87 degree range all the way through at least the end of the month, if not into the first part of October. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, anytime I've seen these situations where you get a lot of high pressure. It dominates our area for quite some time. You get drought scenarios in many cases. You can get some cutoff lows off the East Coast, but you also allow yourself for tropical development. That is the reason why the hurricane season is a little more active usually in September and October. And the European model and the GFS and the Canadian, pretty much every model, does develop a tropical storm near the 1st of October to our south that varies on the speed of bringing it north. Is it going to go northwest? Is it going to go right into Kentucky? Is it going to go northeast? Or is it going to get stuck on the southeast coast? Don't know that answer. But at this point, all the models see it. And that would fit the pattern, given you're having such high pressure, dominant high pressure and control, that it would allow the Gulf of Mexico to begin to pop something and move right into it. So we'll see. But this would be a system that could break the dry pattern and would be one that shake us up a little bit when it comes to our weather pattern as of late. But if we don't get this, I just don't see a lot happening until at least the first week or so of October. So very dry, and for a weatherman, I guess it would be a boring pattern. But for me, I have a lot to do at home, so I'm fine with that. It gives me time to get everything done. But that is the latest thinking right now, guys, is how things are progressing for this week and beyond. And we'll take another look at it tomorrow, and we'll see what's different. You know how it is. Weather is always exciting. Most of the time.